most of the hard surface improvements are done.
The makeover of Sand Creek Park nearing completion will have an update on the project. Plus, the Coon Rapids American Legion preparing to host hundreds for an event in support of law enforcement. But first,
it was inevitable and it was time.
Allowing chickens in Coon Rapids, discussions on a possible new ordinance top CTN News this Friday, October 16, 2015. Thanks for joining us. Progress from a work session this week could mean more feathers and feet in Coon Rapids next year.
On Tuesday night, the City Council discussed the possibility of allowing chickens in the backyards of homes in town. It's an idea that's been thrown around for years and something other cities in the area already allow. CTN's Joe Nelson has more.
I have apple trees, plum trees, raspberries, and an organic garden. And it's just kind of the next natural step that a lot of people take.
For years, Ben Hiltner of Coon Rapids has enjoyed growing his own produce, but breakfast still requires a trip to the store. Hoping for hens like these in Ramsey, Hiltner says he found a lack of support years ago and waited for the next election to grill council candidates on their poultry positions.
I decided, well, let's go to the candidates, let's see how they feel, and I'll just put it out there, and just so people know when they're voting, is this person in favor of it? Are they against it? And so that's what got it going again.
The city's Sustainability Commission says it's done the research to learn how coops could come to Coon Rapids.
We talked to a lot of cities to kind of see what's worked, what's not. On our end, we kind of realized we'd like it to be a little bit more strict and have set guidelines.
Those findings were presented at a work session to City Council this week with a positive response.
We want whoever it is that wants to raise the chickens to really keep it up, to make it nice and not negatively impact the neighbors.
Some of the cities allow, I've seen as much as 16 chickens. I just think that's way, way too many on a residential lot. So I believe we're going to start out with 4 being the number, and I think that's a nice starting point. And we'll see where it goes from there.
The potential ordinance won't allow roosters nor butchering on site. Some debate continues on the distance from coops to neighbors and how many chickens can be owned.
The idea that you're going to have a little 5-pound chicken hopping around in the backyard, cage regulated, it just isn't the danger a lot of people think it is. I'll be very happy if what was discussed this last week is what we actually get.
An ordinance is still being drafted, but council members say they expect to have something passed by next spring. Stephen Karen?
Big changes, and hopefully there's no roosters.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. An Anoka County judge suspended for living outside of his district no longer has a job. On Wednesday, the Minnesota Supreme Court ordered Judge Alan Pendleton removed from office for living outside of his district and lying to voters about his residency. Pendleton sold his townhome in Anoka in late 2013 and moved to Minnetonka with his wife. He then filed for re-election in May of 2014, listing his Anoka address as his residence. This is only the 4th time in state history the Minnesota Supreme Court has removed a judge from the bench.
What 2 issues do you expect the school district to be dealing with in the next few years, and how would you address them?
The candidates running for the Anoka School Board recently squared off in a candidate forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters. 3 school board seats are on the ballot this fall, but only the District 5 seat is being contested. The candidates were asked a series of questions ranging from their qualifications to their support of extracurricular activities. You can watch the forum in its entirety on CTN Government Channel 16.
Teachers in the Anoka School District have overwhelmingly approved a new 2-year contract. Nearly 91% of union members said yes to the new contract, while 9% voted no. Members of Anoka Education Minnesota reached a tentative agreement last month. The agreement includes salary increases in both the 2015-2016 school year and 2016-2017 school year. The district is also increasing its contribution to health insurance premiums. The school board is expected to ratify the deal on October 26th.
A woman who grew up in Coon Rapids is trying to raise support for law enforcement by holding an appreciation event next weekend. The event will take place at the Coon Rapids American Legion on October 23rd. According to a Facebook page set up for the Police Lives Matter gathering, nearly 1,000 people say they plan to attend. The event is free, but organizers are hoping to raise money for the Officer Down memorial page.
As I was watching the news a couple weeks ago and I saw all the police being killed for no reason, just for doing their job, I said to myself, what can I do? And then this event just popped into my head, and it's grown since that day.
Again, the Police Lives Matter event will take place Friday, October 23rd from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the American Legion on Crooked Lake Boulevard. The Anoka County Sheriff and the Coon Rapids Police Chief have both been invited to speak. There will also be bands, a photo booth, silent auction, and a princess party for kids.
Construction continues on a new interchange on Highway 10 in the city of Ramsey. This week, Anoka County posted this cool aerial video taken late last week over the Highway 10 and Armstrong Boulevard interchange. You can see part of the Armstrong Boulevard bridge has been constructed over the westbound lanes of Highway 10. Dirt is also being placed for the exit and entrance ramps. Work on the $27 million project is behind schedule. It was supposed to be finished this month, but crews now hope to have the project completed by the end of the year. The old Regal Auto Wash on Coon Rapids Boulevard is all but a memory. Crews finished tearing down the old building this week, and now there's just a pile of rubble on the site. Super America purchased the property last month and plans to construct a full-service station with car wash on the site. That is near Egret Boulevard. The new gas station is expected to open sometime this winter. If you haven't driven past Sand Creek Park in a while, you're in for a surprise.
The redevelopment of Sand Creek Park, which started earlier this year, is nearing completion. Aside from the playground structures and skateboard park, most of the hard surface improvements are in, but the park won't be ready for users until 2017. CTN Steve Antis explains.
The project's being paid for through the park bond referendum that was approved by the voters.
Well ahead of schedule, the new Sand Creek Park is a marvel in its design. It's built around lots of trails and connections with ample parking space for nearly 600 vehicles.
The project is almost complete with regard to Peterson's contract. The parking lot's done. They're working on striping, signage. Majority of the trail work is complete. The athletic fields are all in and seated and growing nicely.
The scoreboard stands where the Coon Rapids Athletic Association will operate 2 football fields, which double as lacrosse fields. And there are 6 fields for softball and baseball, measuring 300 feet to the outfield.
The wheel, the 4 fields further to the south of the project, is primarily for adult usage, evening men's league type usage. The 2 fields out near Northdale Boulevard will be more of the youth sports, girls fast pitch softball, maybe some baseball.
Despite all of the work that's been done, there won't be any programming for Sand Creek Park in 2016.
We really got to get some good growth on that grass before we start tearing it up and letting the people have some fun out there.
As for the playgrounds, skate park, and buildings, those will be built next year.
The initial bids for the warming house and concession building came in over budget, and so it was removed from the park bond package. It will now be bid separately over the winter and into the spring and paid for with dollars from the Parks Department's Facility Construction Fund. In Sand Creek Park, Steve Antis, CTN News.
The entrance to Sand Creek Park will be relocated to Redwood Street and Northdale Boulevard. Next year, the intersection will be upgraded to include turn lanes and a traffic signal.
Hundreds of people took a trip to the fire station last weekend and got some important safety lessons in the process. As part of the annual open house, Connexus Energy put on an electrical safety demonstration at Fire Station 2 last Saturday. They showed visitors what can happen if someone comes into contact with either an overhead or an underground power line. Families also had the chance to tour the stations, climb the fire trucks, and mingle with the firefighters.
We come every year. Our son looks forward to it, so he waits an entire year till it comes around, so we know the date.
Every time we drive by this road here in this firehouse, which is every day, we always look at it and point to whether or not the doors are open and whether or not you can see the fire trucks. And so I think it's real neat for them to get out and see it in person and get up close and touch it and see what it's like inside the firehouse and inside the fire truck.
Fire Station 1 also showed the explosive effects of putting water on a grease fire. The annual open houses are a culmination to Fire Prevention Week.
Some local Meals on Wheels recipients got a bit of a surprise at lunchtime today.
Meals on Wheels.
City employees and local community leaders, including Councilmember Jenny Geisler, helped deliver food to local Meals on Wheels clients in Coon Rapids and Blaine. The special volunteers helped deliver 100 hot, cold, and weekend meals on 12 different routes. The meals are prepared at the Camellia Rose Convalescent Center here in Coon Rapids. Look at that.
What a great service.
Pretty cool. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye.